All right, thank you for joining us on the RP Experience. I'm your host, Andrew Regenhard, and today we have one of our preferred partners, Josh Rudnick with WWMR, and a top producing agent, Dante DiSabato with William Ravis. Today's topic, we're going to be finding out the best lawyer for your real estate needs and how to sell luxury real estate in Southwest Florida. On that note, Josh, can you start us off and tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
My name is Josh Rudnick. I'm a partner at the law firm of Woods, Weidemeyer, Machete, and Rudnick. I'm the tail that wags that dog. I've been in Naples since I was 13 years old. I went to high school here and just kind of, grew up and went away to law school, obviously college as well, and came back, decided to start my practice and been practicing real estate law here for, forever, 17 years now. So I've seen a change dramatically over those times.
Where'd you go to law school?
Nova Southeastern in Fort Lauderdale. Yeah,
okay.
I wasn't really.
You didn't go that far away.
Yeah, I didn't go that far away. I didn't really study too much in undergrad, and I had a lot of fun in college. And
yeah.
But
where was college?
At Central Florida University. Of Central
you just
Florida.
stayed in Florida.
Yeah, I stayed in Florida. I mean, I grew up. I was born in New York, so I lived there till I was 13.
Okay.
And then my dad decided, hey, we're gonna move this little sleepy town called Naples, Florida. So,
right.
So we moved down here, and that's it. I decided I didn't want to leave. I need the beach. I need to surf, and that was it.
Yeah, I love it. Well, you obviously brought on Dante. Dante's was on one of our recent covers, Southwest Florida Real Producers, and a top agent here in Southwest Florida. So welcome, Dante. Can you get the listeners just up to speed on who you are?
Well, thank you, and Josh, thanks for the invite. And, I appreciate being here. And, I really think it took some time to get, to where I am today, and I'm still growing and still learning. But, back in the day, I think in 2009 when I came down, I just started learning the market, wanted to learn. And, I'm with William Ravis right now. I had my own brokerage back then. But I really just took my time, and, I say it's a marathon, not a sprint. That's my one main line. But, I went to Miami of Ohio, played baseball, brought some athletic mentality into, selling real estate, a little aggressive here or there. But love what I do. And, I say it's a license to steal down here.
That's awesome. Now, where'd you move from?
Columbus, Ohio.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
From
So
Wisconsin.
I don't like
Midwest.
cold weather. Yeah, I don't like cold weather.
I don't want to go back.
Yeah, no. I'm going to the wedding in Chicago this weekend. I said,
It's terrible.
Oh my God.
bad. Yeah.
I went up last month, and it was like, they're like, oh, it's beautiful. It's a perfect weather. Everyone's in shorts, and I'm like in a sweatshirt. And I'm like, this is way too cold. Josh, why'd you get into, into law, and why'd you want to practice law?
I really started. I wanted to be an FBI agent.
Okay.
To be honest with you. My father was in law enforcement.
Oh.
My brother was in law enforcement, and that was the whole idea of going to law school. And then I, after a couple of years in law school, I looked at the salaries for FBI agents, looked at the salaries for lawyers, and I said, "What the hell am I doing?" So I was a traitor to my dad and my brother, and I decided to get into law. But it's paid off well, and it's at the end of the day, you're just trying to help people. And, that's kind of what we do. I mean, Dante and I work together a lot. He came here voluntarily today to speak, despite me.
Voluntarily.
Yeah.
No, I had to do it.
He had to do
so
it.
Josh will pick up the phone when I need it. Okay.
So, but yeah, that's kind of the thing, what got me into it. It was, I never intended to become a lawyer. I wanted to become an FBI agent. And that was the goal. And I, pulled an audible at third year of law school and decided to practice law.
There you go. Now, obviously, you gotta fill the needs, right? And if you have certain spending habits or wants and desires, you gotta find something that aligns with it.
Exactly. And FBI agent didn't pay for those needs and wants.
Not at all. Why real estate law?
I started my career at the state attorney's office as a prosecutor. Which is the most fun I've ever had.
Okay.
Practicing law. I mean,
do you miss it? Would you go back?
I would. I miss
maybe like
it.
once a week or something.
Yeah, once a week. Just go back to hang out in court. You kind of. It's like what you see on. You feel like you're on TV. It's like Law and Order. It's the best. It's the most fun you have practicing law as a young attorney. growing up in Naples, it's not the type of law you want to do. You don't want to be a prosecutor when you grew up here, because you'd be sitting in court and you get a tap on your shoulder and it's some guy that you went to high school with that got arrested the night before looking for a hookup. Can you help me? Hey, I can't do that. Go out to dinner. You see someone that you just put on probation serving you your food. You're not going to eat that food.
No.
So, and then I just had the opportunity to get into real estate, and I made the switch, and that was it. I stayed in it and just, grinded. I mean, I grinded through recession, grinded through it all to just, it's a constant, like as Dante said, it's just a constant grind. It's not a sprint. It's a marathon. Dante and I think since 2009, we've known each other, and we both,
Josh was always out here, the good-looking women. I was like, I want to be that guy, like that guy right there. I can look up to him,
Put him on the pedestal.
Yeah. I was like, I could be friends with this guy.
Yeah, Dante's a little younger than me. I kind of took him under my wing, So, but it was, it's one of those things. We both just kind of went through it, just grinding. Yeah. We could barely afford the lunches we go eat together, and it's what it is. It's just a grind.
Love it. Now, can you get us up to speed on WWMR and where you guys are at? You guys do a lot more than real estate.
Yeah. So the firm itself, we have a big litigation department. Obviously we have the real estate department, and we're just kind of getting to a point where we're continuing in that growth phase of the firm. We're starting to grow, trying to be a little smarter in how we grow the firm, but we practice, between the real estate and litigation is kind of the two departments in the firm that is our primary focus. We look to just try to find the needs of all of our clients, and we found that those two in this town was the biggest need. So we have just an army of lawyers in both departments, and an army of support staff, and we just keep grinding all day long.
Love it. Well, you guys are one of the biggest in Southwest Florida now?
I think so. I don't know what the numbers are.
You don't look. You just keep grinding.
I don't look. I don't have time. I tell everyone, I don't look at what someone else is doing.
Right.
I don't look at the numbers someone else has or what clients they have. I'm busy. There's enough out there. My biggest competition is that guy I look at in the mirror every day. So we just grind all day long. We don't have time to pay attention. Yeah. I'll hear from people numbers. This is what this person has. This is what this firm has. And I'm like, good. Just keep grinding. We're grinding. They're grinding. Let's just keep going.
That's one thing, coming from a small little town in Wisconsin, you understand Ohio, there's so much opportunity here. You said it earlier as a joke, but seriously, there's so much opportunity here. It's unreal. It is like steel.
Yeah, no, it is. It's unbelievable. Ohio, I don't think there's a $5 million house.
No.
So
$5 million would be the town, like the city.
My friends look at me and they're like, "What are you doing down there?"
Right.
That's unbelievable. I tell them, hey, or they see something on social media or whatever that I do, and just gotta, thank God and keep working. Like Josh said, it's just. Keep grinding and go.
Yeah, well, get us up to speed on your real estate, and how you got involved and where you're at today. Give us a progression.
I kind of was born into it, I would say. My father developed in Columbus, so I was, 3, 4, 5 years old. Other than playing sports, I was, looking at floor plans and sweeping out units and that hard-nosed Italian family of, go start a job when you're 5, type deal. My job was athletics, and then but I also had the knack to look at floor plans and go and sit in his office and meetings and see what they were doing. And they were doing golf course communities and hotels and single family homes and entry level homes and you name it. So I loved the process of really developing and selling and just, where you can create something and then, someone comes along and you sell it to them, which was outstanding for me. And I, went to school. I played baseball at Miami and loved that. But I always knew one of these days I would get into selling, and I, came down in 2009, which we've talked about before is, probably the best time to get in, even though it was the worst time, to learn. And, I saw Josh and I'm going, heck, I did one deal, or I did a rental. Like, this is unbelievable. We're laughing about it. And it's like, I think I have a check still in my office. It's like $300. It's kind of the cliche thing everyone puts up, it's their first dollar they made, but it's like, here's a check I had like $300 from a rental on. A lot of people don't see that. They see me now and they see all this stuff and I'm selling $40 million houses and it's going, look, that was, 12 years. It took me 12 years to really get, to where I am today, maybe longer, 13, I think. 12, 21. Yeah. There we go.
Math's hard.
Yeah, I can tell you 3% anything. But, so it took me a while to get to where I am today. But I started my own brokerage with my father. I became a broker 2 years later after I moved down here in 2009. Kind of ramped up sales, was doing like 10 to 20 million throughout that time, but didn't really go to a larger brokerage firm. I created my own team. I had guys like Josh, other mortgage bankers, just network, as much as I could. And that was kind of what I did. I was out every night. I was out, networking my ass off. And, it kind of, put me in the position where I am today and caught some eyes of some larger brokerage firms. William Ravis, one of them. Took them a while to recruit me, and I said, hey, it might not be a bad idea to go to a larger firm to learn what they're doing. And, they came to me and said, we're a family brokerage, which they are, and they're a great brokerage. And I said, hey, I like that. It kind of fits with where I come from. And I said, all right, let me, they said, hey, go sell. Do what you do best. Go network and go sell. We'll handle the back end and help you market, help you do everything, kind of give you a back end so you don't have to do any of that, which I was doing in my other firm. And I said, great, let me go sell. And in the last 4 years since I've been with them, I've done, I think, 400 million, 500 million with them.
That's amazing.
So, it's been, a blessing for being with them and growing and learning. And I always say I'm a product of the market as well, because the market's, hot too. But
doesn't hurt.
Doesn't hurt. Yeah, doesn't hurt. But, they're a great brokerage, and I'm with them and work well with them. And, the market right now is great.
Yeah. Now, you've told me this, so I want the listeners to know. Tell us how you got your knowledge within real estate. I know you obviously grew up, but you came down here and you didn't know streets versus different things.
No, so what I did was, my father kind of helped with this as well. And he said, again, going back to hard-nosed Italian, hey, you got to go learn it. I kind of went out and said, all right, I'm going to learn everything about Naples. I didn't know, I come down in 99 for vacations, and that was, we were playing golf and going to dinner on Fifth and, living the vacation life. But when you're really living here and working here, it took some time to say, all right, who's who, what is what builders, what development's this, what are they offering, what's their absorption rates, how long is it taking to build, all kinds of, price points, you name it. So I went through, every development, every street, learned, pretty much networked through the building aspect in the building industry, along with attorneys and bankers and mortgage brokers and you name it, to say, hey, look, let's create this team, but also learn what's out there. And it took me probably 6 months to a year to really study that and know exactly what it was. So then all of a sudden, I set myself up for somewhat of success where someone would call me and say, hey, I want, to buy between, 500 and $1 million, or where at whatever price point. I could say, all right, well, here's your options. I already knew it off the top of my head.
Right.
And I study the MLS, I studied it every morning. I study it every day still. I have alerts pretty much every day coming on my phone to make sure I know what's out there, so I know what's going on. So I have my, pulse on the market. I know what's happening.
Yeah, that's awesome. All right, well, you've set some pretty big goals already, or achieved some pretty big goals. So what are some goals for, wrapping up this year and next year?
It's crazy because like I said, I'm a product of the market, and, Josh, kind of hit the nail on the head where he's saying, I'm in competition with myself, every day. And, again, numbers are thrown out consistently with agents, they're always coming out going, I did this or I did that and I did this. And, you want that because you want to show your buyers that you're doing business. People want to work with you because you're doing business. This year, I think I'll wrap up with just over 250 million of sales. I like to say $250 million. It's kind of nice.
Yeah, that's a good number.
Kind of nice to say. Unbelievable. Very blessed to be in that position.
That's
a ton of work, ton of deals. I was talking to Josh about it. It is a lot of work, very hard, very stressful, but, got through it, and, we'll kind of push through till the end of the year. Next year I have, probably, I think I have around 40 million already pending for next year. I don't know if the market could hold, the ability to do 250 million again next year. That's the challenge. That's what a lot of people don't realize is like, you can't really scale this business. You can scale it to an extent, but you can't really say, all right, well, I hit 250. Now let's go to 500.
Right.
You could, but you don't know, because right now inventory is an all-time low. There's not that many sales out there to get.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's a challenge, which is going to be tough, I think, next year for a lot of agents as well, to see, all right, what will really happen, because there's not going to be an influx of inventory.
Right.
So how do you really consistently build that program to hit that, goal for next year? I mean, my goal this year was 150,
Yeah.
and I killed it, which is great. So maybe I'll take a little of that and put it for next year.
Just cut down
Yeah.
this year, cut it in
Right, that's what I'm
half,
saying,
and then
put
you
it-
meet your goal. I
Right.
mean, I tell people all the time, the worst day of every year for me is December 31st.
Yeah.
Because I've killed it that year. I've knocked it out of the park. I got to deal with closing out everything for the year. And then it's like January 1st, I got to start at zero. And I got to, and then because, we're of that mentality, you're always competing against yourself.
You are.
I don't care what this guy next door to me is doing. I care what I did. So now I'm like, I had the best year ever. January 1st comes, I got to try to beat that again. And it's just mentally, you're constantly like, I tell
It's a
everyone.
mind game.
Yeah, January 1st is the
totally-
worst time of the year because you're starting at zero. Again.
Right.
Like right now, we're sitting at, this is great. We just killed it. We're in November at the best year. We're going to close out the year great. And then you're January 1st, you're like, I gotta do
And
this
everyone
all
started back with you.
Everyone starts, yeah.
If you are a person that looks
Yeah.
outside, right, and that motivates you, which, hey,
Yeah.
all hail to you. You know, you look at numbers and whatnot, and
Exactly.
you push. Great, whatever motivates you. But now everyone started back
Everyone
at zero.
starts back.
There's
Yeah.
a new starting line, and
new
everyone's
start.
here.
Yeah.
All that progression you made.
Exactly.
Yeah, and you get, different things like, Josh, they have their own company. He's comparing himself with, other, firms. Sometimes he's not comparing them, but sees, sees
see
their
what they're
numbers.
doing.
I got guys in my own firm.
Yeah.
So I'm competing with,
Yeah.
I'm like, who's our number one agent? And who's, and it's, you have a little bit of that, you should have a little bit of athletic mentality. You're like, I want to, I wanna be
yeah.
first, but it's also like, all right, like Josh said in the beginning, there's enough to go around.
Yeah.
I mean, down here, there's enough to go around.
There's
Yeah.
plethora.
Yeah.
Unreal.
They're not tripping each other on the way to the bathroom.
No.
No, it's like, yeah, we can,
It's
get
almost
into it,
like, hey, way to go on that one.
Yeah.
I'm going to get the
well,
next
we're all
one.
working
but
together
like, yeah,
too,
yeah,
which
exactly.
a lot of people don't realize. We got to work together.
Of course.
You got to work together to get it done.
Dante, when I first started this, one person was like, wait, why would you get realtors together? Like, aren't they the competition? And I'm like, you're right. Buyers or sellers, okay. But at the end of the day, they usually, unless you're double-ended, they're usually working with other realtors to get paid. So they have to use each other. And that's the crazy thing about this industry. Look at other industries, and usually they're competition. It's sales, right? It doesn't really matter. It's always you're competing. You're never really working with another. And this one you are. So
No,
that's
it
pretty
is.
cool.
I mean, on our side, on the real estate attorney side, and it's a battle internally in my office because you have litigators that the mind is fight. And the real estate guys and girls in the office, everything's settle because we have to close. We don't get paid until it closes. So when you're dealing with other attorneys, we're always, okay, if we don't get this deal closed, the agents don't get paid. And then we don't get paid. Well, we may get paid if the client will pay us, but then we got to send them a bill because it's not getting paid on a closing statement. So what are we fighting about? Let's get this thing done. So it's like there's always that competition. You're always looking out for your client, and the realtor's always looking out for their customer. But at the end of the day, everyone needs to sit down and understand that, hey, if this doesn't get closed right now, nobody's getting paid. Everyone's walking home, and this deal's going sideways. So it's one of those things. It's hard to get people to understand that.
Yeah. And I think that's the biggest thing right there is that everyone's got to work together, right? Yeah, don't get me wrong. There's competition.
course.
But you can look at any industry. There's always competition,
There
right?
always is.
But you got to work together. And we were talking about this on other podcasts and stuff is like, the people around you, surrounded and stuff like that. So
Well, you welcome it. It gets
the
you
thing.
better.
Yeah.
You learn
course.
from it and you continue to grow. I mean, that's what it's all about.
if I got outbeat, I would literally be like, all right, so what'd you do different? Because like, kudos to you, man. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and they would motivate me more. But like people look at it like they get all down and nasty. And it's like, no. Look at it like a positive. Like, what can you learn from that?
Yeah.
What did you quote unquote do wrong? And then I don't know.
Yeah, well, that's the challenge. I mean, you got to, in this business, and Josh knows this, you got to stay level. And I mean, we've been through so many deals up and down and sideways and be like, what are people doing? And like, let's go. And it's just like, logically, if you break it down, you got to stay consistent.
Even
Because
keel, yeah.
even keel. Because one day you're making a ton of money, the next day you're losing a ton of money. You don't make the money until you get hit your bank account.
Yeah.
And yeah, you can get excited and that's great. But over the years, I've become, I think, a little bit more mellow through the deals, which it's interesting because a lot of people are like, why aren't you excited? Or why aren't you out there? And, you just closed this huge deal. And I'm like, yeah, it's awesome. I love it. I am.
Yeah.
But again,
It's pending. It's not closed.
right.
You're like-
yeah, it's pending. We didn't get it done yet. Did a ton of work,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
well, I was telling you guys when I walked in. I mean, I lost a big deal. 40 days of work. Which might not seem like a lot, but when you're doing it, 40 straight days consistently for a deal, and then all of a sudden they pull the plug on it. You know, it's tough.
Then you got to call the car dealership and say, hey,
Yeah,
cancel that order.
Cancel
Right.
that order.
I mean, it's like,
can't go on this vacation.
Yeah, can't go on this vacation.
Sorry, babe.
Stop.
You're going
honey.
home telling your wife. That's
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
You know,
But
so-
I mean, like anything. I mean, think about it. I mean, when you're in any sport, if you're playing against competition that's as good or better, it's going to make you better.
Mm-hmm.
You know, anything you do. I mean, see, it's going to. You're constantly. You've got to have that to push you. If you're always on top, or I mean, being on top is great, but everyone's vying to get on top. So,
I know.
and you can't sit up there where you think you're on top and I'm the king of the world, because you're going to fall.
Oh, yeah.
Fast. I mean, so you've got to have that motivation. You got to have that, you know, and it's like who you surround yourself with. I mean, you want to hang out with people that are like-minded, motivated, or you're going to hang around with a bunch of schlubs because you feel better about yourself. And
Right.
you're just eventually you're going to find yourself as one of those schlubs.
Exactly. 100%. What sets you guys apart from the rest?
Or good looks.
Definitely. Save the best for last today, right?
That's
That's
there you
it.
go.
Yeah. I think it was just because we're grinders.
Yeah.
You know, it's not. It's funny, and I'm not just saying this because Dante's sitting next to me.
He is.
He is. I'm saying, but it's you know, I had someone ask me. I was telling them I was going on the podcast today, and I was like, oh, I'm going with Dante, and they're like, how did he get to where he is? And I'm like, grinding. I said, I remember when Dante had just come down here, and he was sitting in these open houses for his dad and just hating.
Yeah, nobody knows about
life.
that.
And I was like, Dante, Saturday, hey, we're gonna have a pool party. Come on. I can't. I gotta sit these open houses. My dad's making me sit these open houses. I mean, just grinding. I mean, and that's what I think sets us apart. I mean, I know that's what set me apart. I just grind. I work. I mean, you've been on trips with me. I'm constantly emailing, and I'm glued to my phone. I'm glued to my emails. People call me. They may get that crazy ring because I'm in Costa Rica, but I'm answering that phone. I mean, it's just constantly being available, constantly grinding, understanding what your priorities are. You know, I of course I want to go to dinner with my buddies. Of course I want to go do this with you know, do stuff. You know, obviously family's got to come first all the time, but you have to grind, because if you work harder, it's like, you know, when the bear's chasing a pack of people, you know, you just got to be faster than the slowest person.
Yeah.
That's what it is. You just constantly grind it.
I would agree. I mean, I think it's
You can't say ditto. You got to explain.
No, I'm just kidding.
Just kidding.
Say I concur.
Yeah. See.
Yes.
I agree with that. No, I mean, I think it's such a challenge to be complacent down here.
Yeah.
Because you can get in this vacation mode.
It
down
is
here-
vacation.
Yeah.
Vacation.
It's
There's a
perfect.
lot
You,
about
you,
that.
you go down to Fifth and you have dinner and you're like, wow, this is great. And you're like, you know, and then you sit back and you're like, you know, this is unbelievable. Like, we're so blessed, and it's unbelievable to be here, you know, and we're working here, and this is, you know, we can go play golf, and we have so many things at our fingertips that we can do, you know, but it's, you know, I didn't know that we had a beach here for like 6 years. Okay. I didn't know we
You
had
knew
that.
there were golf courses.
I did plenty of golf courses. I would say that. I do a lot of work on the golf course. I would say that. But
Best networking. Golf course.
that's always networking.
I'll leave that to you guys.
But you know, I think the challenge is, you know, I would say consistently working and being, like Josh said, being there though. And I'd say we also network a lot.
Yeah.
You know, and that'd be a big key, where we network. We go to a lot of events, a lot of higher end events. I got a lot of great advice from some friends out in California that sell a bunch. They're on a TV show, I'm sure a lot of you guys know. And I asked them, I said, how did you guys get to where you're at? You know, and a lot of people might not realize that I look up to a lot of agents. You know, I do. I look up to a lot of agents in town too. I talk to them, I ask them questions, and I'm still learning.
Oh yeah.
And,
Always.
you know, I asked them and said, hey, how'd you guys get to where you're at? And they said, well, we bought one of the things we did was we bought a Rolls Royce. I'm like, well, gee, how'd you afford that? You know, like, it's, well, we're in the Rolls Royce Club in Beverly Hills. We network with now people that own Rolls Royces who can afford houses.
So you bought a Rolls Royce?
No, I didn't. I can't afford a Rolls Royce. But it thought in my mind, I'm going, wow, that's an unbelievable, thought process. So I bought a Range Rover.
There you go.
And they do free car washes on Saturday.
There you go.
There
So
you
you
go.
can go network at the dealership
Yeah, you're
down
a
there.
Range Rover guy.
So,
Yeah. Quick,
You
I'm
know.
gonna get rid of it. Back to truck.
but it's just another example of just networking. You know, go to higher end events and surround yourself, like Josh said, surround yourself with like-minded people.
Yeah.
And I think we've tried to do that and consistently try to do that. And, you work, you network,
It's got to be like-minded people, though. It's people you enjoy being around.
Yeah, you do the right thing. People will trust you. If they trust you, they like you, they're going to do business with you and move forward.
And I think the biggest thing is building those relationships, the networking. Like I last week I shut down. Like I had the big event on Thursday. Yeah. I had event on Wednesday. I had a fundraiser on Friday night. I mean, by the time, the weekend comes and it's like, I'm like in a zombie at that point. And people don't realize that, like, that's the make or break of your business. Like we can all grind during the day, right? And we can all be busy during the day, but it's a lot of the extra stuff that happens outside of work. That is the game changer. And I know we make jokes about golf, but I mean, I've built some amazing relationships on golf, or from golf that I had no clue were going to happen, or from these fundraisers or from whatever it is, which is super cool.
It is funny when the weekends hit. I mean, it's always been a battle, like in my house, where I come home on a Friday. It's like, we have dinner with so-and-so and so-and-so. And I'm like, I just dealt with thousands of people all week. Like Friday night, please don't plan a dinner with
I don't want to do
anyone.
anything.
Yeah. I don't want to see anyone.
I don't want to talk to anybody.
And then everyone's like, well, you're like a hermit. I'm like, you have no idea what I've dealt with all week. I've been to this event. And when before COVID, come season, I think I wore a tuxedo 4 nights a week from January till May, and every week. And I was just like, I'm done with this. You get to that point. So
the social calendar's filling up now. Season's coming. It's filling up.
Coming.
It's, and that's what, but that's the game, and that's what we do. And you got to play it. And it's, I think it sets you apart and it gets you in there, and, you network and, you build. But I think, one thing I would say about Josh, and myself, but I would say that, we care. We actually care.
Right.
And that's, I think also separates us is I care what happens. And sometimes I care, everyone says, what's your biggest weakness? I say, I just care too much. But, but I do. I mean, I care what happens. I honestly, I can say, out of all the deals I've done, I care about every single one of them, whether it's 500,000 or 40 million. Yep. I care about every deal, care about all my clients equally, and I'll do anything I can for every single client, if I can do it within my ability. And because I care about them as people too. Because I want to care about them, and I do. And I
have to.
Yeah, you do.
And I build a relationship with them. I mean, I care about their families, and I network with them, and I, go out to dinners with them and just enjoy. And it's not because I have to, it's I want to.
Yeah.
Exactly. Love it. You guys, unfortunately, we are running out of time already, right? Pretty crazy. So there's a little bit of fun section that we're going to run through at the end here. There's a speed round, a couple of would you rathers, and then a this or that. All right. So bear with me. I don't even know all these questions. It's a big bank that we utilize. So would you rather eat savory or sweet?
Savory.
Sweet.
I think I'd do savory too. I think it would go
Savory,
there.
yeah.
Would you rather take a week-long hiking and camping vacation or a week-long cruise?
Camping.
Yeah, I think hiking and camping. With COVID, I'm not going.
I'm not going to cruise.
Yeah.
No.
I'm good. Sorry,
I just did
Carnival
did glamping. Okay, I'll do that.
Sorry, Royal Caribbean. Your stock just plummeted.
That's true. Would you rather never lose your phone again or never lose your keys again?
I'm obsessive compulsive, so I can't lose my phone.
No, I know.
Keys. I mean, if I lose my keys and I have my phone, I can still Uber.
That's true.
I'm good.
Yeah. I do the AirTags now thing.
Phone's good.
Because I don't have to use it, but I know now at least if I do, I know I can get it back.
Well, you can start the cars through.
You can do everything.
Yeah, unlock, start, fine.
All right, this or that. Ready? Pierce or tattoos? Piercings or tattoos?
Tattoos.
Both.
Saturdays or Sundays?
Saturdays.
Sundays.
Fame or fortune?
Fortune.
Ketchup or ranch? Oh, you didn't answer.
Fortune.
Ketchup or ranch?
Ketchup.
Ranch.
Cardio or weights?
Cardio.
You got to start.
I'm trying to.
Weights.
Josh goes, we go to the gym.
Yeah.
So, all right, guys, that's it. We are totally out of time. As always, Southwest Florida Real Producers is really extremely thrilled to have you both on here. And we're pumped to bring real producers on air. So thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks, guys.